Hey gang, welcome to the Zen Large Show. This is where I give you my tips and tricks to help you to live the Zen life. Glad to have you. Alright, today we're going to do the third part in my series on how to live a great life. So in part one I talked about the importance of everyday choosing actions that make your current self happy, or that your current self approves of, and that your future selves will approve of, right? So a lot of people are living their lives where maybe their self today approves of it, but their self tomorrow doesn't. Their self, 10 years from now doesn't. This would be stuff like not taking care of your health. If you're eating that excessive amounts of dessert and booze and whatnot, right? But then there's the other thing where like you're doing things that your future self will appreciate, like putting everything away for retirement or that sort of thing, but not taking care of your current self. And so what I said in part one was make sure that your actions are such that your current self and your future selves approve of them, right? Now, part two, I talked about the importance of having a purpose. Like, you need to have a purpose in your life. A lot of people don't have an explicit purpose, or maybe they kind of do know what their purpose is, but they're not actually living their purpose. So the importance of like having a purpose and living it, right? I went into more details on that in the show. Definitely check it out if you missed it. Today, I'm going to talk about a third thing to keep in mind, and this one is very important to have coupled with the purpose one, and that is balance. So you might, figure out that, your purpose is, helping other people, right? And the way that you're living your purpose is you've got this nonprofit charity organization that you work for, right? And so you're really living your purpose and you're throwing yourself into it, and you're working 80 hours a week or whatever, and just almost all of your energy, time is going into purposeful living. Well, is that going to lead to a great life? There's probably going to be things, like if you do a life like that where you dedicate yourself to one thing, where you're going to end up like not regretting some things, right? So what happens a lot of times is people, like they'll throw themselves into something and maybe their relationships suffer. Maybe they weren't the mother or father they wanted to be. Maybe they weren't the spouse that they wanted to be, and they look back on that and they really regret it. That's a common thing that happens. Maybe they don't take care of their health. They're throwing themselves into this. They're not getting the sleep they need. They're not eating right. They're getting just fast food or whatever, and their health starts going to shit because they're not taking care of their health. There's many things that people need, and if you don't have balance, you're not taking care to make sure all your needs are met, it's really not going to lead to a great life, right? So you need, it's a combination of the two, being purposeful but also taking care of all of your needs. And that's the way to really have a very fulfilling life and have a great life, one you can look back on. So what am I talking about? There's the physical stuff, the health, sleep, exercise, eating right, stress management, all this stuff. Mental health, stress management is a part of that mental health as well. There's your relationships is really important. There's your financial aspects, right? That's an important part that you have to make sure you take care of, or it's going to lead to other problems. How about leisure, fun, relaxation, right? Some people are not, it's not that they're lacking that. Some people have too much of that, so they're leading to it's not balanced in other areas. They're not able to take care of some of these other things because they're spending so much time watching Netflix. Then there's other people, like I said, that are really driven to do their jobs, or workaholics or whatever, right? And they aren't getting that leisure, that relaxation in, and a lot of people have guilt associated with that. I can't relax, and because then I'm letting something else go, and they have guilt and shame associated with that. So, but that's something you need, and if you want to have a great life, which is what this series is all about, which is what the Zen Life is all about, you need to make sure that you're checking all these boxes on at least a somewhat regular basis. It doesn't have to mean like every single day you get some leisure in, or every single day, you're spending time with, all the people that are, the relationships that are important to you. But you don't want to go very long with neglecting any one of these areas, right? So I think you get the idea. Balance, looking at all the things that are important in your life. The things that when you're on your deathbed, you're going to look back and be like, did I fall short in one area? Did I really drop the ball in that one area? But there's one other thing I did want to say that's a very interesting point on this topic, and one surely you've all heard like, yeah, Chris, I've heard before, you need to live a balanced life, right? This is not earth-shattering, enlightenment that I'm giving to you. An interesting topic on an interesting point of view on this topic of balance. I was listening to one guy, and I cannot remember his name. He's like a marketing guru, right? He had a course on marketing, and I was listening to that, and he was saying like how balance basically was overrated, but pretty much said basically balance is bullshit. And if you want to have the life you want, if you want to be successful, that you need to become really unbalanced. And he said, he gave this example. He said, was Michael Jordan balanced? Or did he throw himself into basketball to become the greatest basketball player that he could possibly be? And if you know anything about Michael Jordan, like he was constantly in the gym, and practicing at 110% every single time, right? Like there was no just lazy practice. He was like all out, trying to be the greatest player he could be constantly. So it's an interesting point. And, there might be some truth to that sometimes you need to get a little unbalanced in order to be successful. If you're completely balanced, there's going to be some areas where you're going to have problems having extreme success. So, and like an example, like, I'm a musician, right? And I'm making music, and sure, I would love to make it, right? And become big. That would be great. I'm not concerned if that doesn't happen. I'm not like trying super hard for that to happen. I'm just trying to put out good music and have a good time and express myself and share that with the world. And if something comes of it, great. And if nothing comes of it, hey, I had a good time along the way and met a lot of cool people. But in order to be successful in music, like if you listen to podcasts, like the Music Entrepreneur, that sort of thing, right? And they will talk about like just how much work it is and really throwing yourself into it and all that. And maybe that's what it takes to become super successful in certain areas. Maybe you need to become unbalanced for a time. I do still think even somebody like you're a big music star, you maybe need to become unbalanced and throw yourself into, making an album. It's like two months where like you're pretty much, from the moment you get up to the time you go to bed, you're in the studio, you're doing this, that, whatever, getting everything that goes into making an album and getting it released and all that stuff, right? But then you do need to like go back and make sure you're taking care of your relationships, make sure you're taking care of your health and all that stuff, right? I don't think you can perpetually let that go and still end up having a great life. Maybe bursts of time when you're very unbalanced in order to reach very specific goals, but in general, keep that balance and get back to that balanced state as soon as you can. So that's my thoughts on it. I'd love to hear what you think about it. Let me know. Give me some comments. Give me some likes, shares, subscribes, all that good stuff. All right, everybody. Thanks so much. Peace.